Let's be brutally honest for a moment. The entire travel industry, from the moment you click search on a flight to the final jet bridge sigh of relief at your destination, is designed for a very specific demographic. It's built for the sprinting 30-something with a digital boarding pass on their phone, a single backpack, and the unwavering belief that the middle seat is a personal affront. It shouts in vibrant ads about youth fairs, workation packages, and Instagrammable layovers. So when you've celebrated your 70th birthday, it's easy to feel like the system has quietly turned its back on you, that you're now just a logistical variable to be processed, a potential slowdown in the security line. What if I told you that's a carefully cultivated myth, that some of the most valuable, stress-reducing, dignity-preserving benefits in modern air travel are actually better suited to you, but the airlines and airports have absolutely no incentive to advertise them? They're hidden in plain sight, buried in subclauses of contracts of carriage, dependent on the simple, powerful act of asking, not clicking. I've spent decades navigating this system, not just as a passenger, but as someone who studies the silent language of terminals, the unwritten codes of cabin crews, and the real leverage passengers hold. And I'm here to tell you that flying after 70 can be not just manageable, but genuinely superior, if you know where to look. So let me ask you directly, and I truly want to know your thoughts based on your own experiences. When was the last time you felt genuinely seen and accommodated by an airline, not as a senior, but as a traveler with earned wisdom and specific needs? Take a second, think about it, and I encourage you to share your story in the comments below. Your reality is what shapes this conversation. I read every single one, and while you're considering that, let me pull back the curtain. What you're about to discover are not generic senior discounts you can find on a website. These are procedural superpowers, unspoken courtesies, and tactical advantages that can transform a grueling day of travel into something resembling a civilized journey. Some are born from policy, others from human nature, and a few from the simple physics of an airport. But all of them require you to shift your mindset from passive passenger to informed navigator. The system won't hand them to you. You must claim them, and the first one begins not at the ticket counter, but in a place most people dread, the security line. Forget everything you think you know about TSA pre-check and clear. Those are marketed products sold on speed. But speed is only one component of the experience, and for many, not even the most important one. The real hidden benefit is the predictability and reduced physical demand of a dedicated lane. Here's the insider truth. While anyone can buy pre-check, the physical environment of the standard screening lane is designed for throughput, not comfort. It's a chaotic, noisy, hurried space where you're barked at to remove shoes, unpack laptops, and hurry into the body scanner. Now, consider the alternative. With pre-check, you keep your shoes on, your laptop and liquids stay in your bag, and you walk through a simple metal detector. The cognitive load plummets. You're not juggling bins and belongings while being rushed. The lane is typically less crowded, the lighting often less harsh, the agents slightly less harried because they aren't managing a conveyor belt circus. This isn't just about saving 10 minutes. It's about conserving a tremendous amount of mental and physical energy before you even step foot on the plane. That conserved energy is a currency you can spend later. But there's a layer beyond this. Most experienced travelers know about pre-check. The hidden part is how you navigate the human element. If you have a pacemaker or medical device that prohibits the scanner, you must opt for a pat-down. In the standard lane, this is a rushed, public affair. In pre-check, while the opt-out process is the same, the overall context is different. The agent has more time. You can calmly, quietly explain your situation before you even approach the scanner. You have space to breathe. You're not holding up a line of 50 frantic people. This changes the dynamic from adversarial to cooperative. The key is to declare your need early and calmly. Don't wait until you're at the scanner. When the agent checks your ID and boarding pass, simply say, "I'll need to opt out for a medical device." That's it. You've set an expectation, and you've done it in a way that gives them time to prepare. This small act of proactive communication is a golden rule that will reappear again and again. Let's move to the gate. This is a theater of anxiety for most. People jostle for position, forming a shapeless mob, convinced that boarding earlier means their carry-on will find space. It's primal, but you hold a secret weapon. You can completely opt out of this madness without paying for a better seat. How? Through pre-boarding. Now, airlines are terrified of lawsuits under the Air Carrier Access Act, and they are exceptionally careful about offering pre-boarding to anyone who indicates a need for more time or assistance. They will never ask you why you need more time. They cannot demand proof of a disability. It is a voluntary, no questions asked system. So, when the gate agent makes the announcement, We now invite passengers who need a little extra time or assistance to board. That is your cue. Walk up. You do not need a wheelchair request. You do not need to limp. You simply need to take them up on their offer. This is not cheating the system. It is using the system as designed. By boarding early, you accomplish several critical things. You get first pick of overhead bin space directly above your seat, eliminating the stressful game of musical bins. You have ample, unrushed time to settle in, organize your reading materials, medication, or anything else you want at hand without someone crowding you from the aisle. You can speak to the flight attendant calmly before the storm hits, perhaps confirming a special meal request or simply establishing a friendly rapport. And most importantly, you avoid the crushing, claustrophobic line of bodies in the jet bridge. You board in quiet dignity. The hidden cost of not doing this is paid in stress hormones and physical strain. I see proud travelers refuse this every day, determined to manage, only to end up flustered, searching for bin space 3 rows back, and exhausted before takeoff. Swallow the pride. Claim the benefit. It exists for you. Now you're on the plane. The battle for the armrest is just beginning, and the person in the middle seat thinks they own both. But you have a physiological fact on your side that can be leveraged for comfort: circulation. Deep vein thrombosis, DVT, is a real risk on long flights for everyone, but the awareness is higher for older passengers. This isn't a scare tactic. It's a medical reality that the crew understands. And this understanding creates an opportunity. If you find yourself in a cramped row, particularly in economy, you have a legitimate, unassailable reason to request a seat with better legroom after boarding. You cannot demand it, but you can politely inquire. Wait until the initial boarding scramble is over, until the flight attendants have a moment. Catch the eye of the lead attendant near the galley. Say something like, "I'm concerned about circulation on this long flight. I don't see any open seats now, but if any become available with a bit more legroom later, I would be so grateful for the consideration." You have done 3 things. You've stated a health concern, non-confrontational. You've acknowledged their current constraints, showing empathy. And you've planted a seed. If a bulkhead or exit row seat, if you're able and willing to take on the exit row responsibilities, goes unclaimed, or if a passenger misses the flight, you are now the polite, prepared person who asked first. You're not the angry passenger complaining, you're the understanding one with a genuine need. This works far more often than you'd think because it operates on human psychology, not policy. Crews have discretionary power to make people comfortable, and they use it for those who treat them as allies, not servants. Speaking of crews, let's talk about the most underutilized resource on any aircraft: the flight attendant. They are not just beverage dispensers. They are managers of a metal tube at 35,000 feet, trained in first aid, conflict resolution, and observational skills. They notice everything, and they respond to respect. The hidden benefit here is the quiet ask. This is the opposite of pressing the call button for a soda. It's the discreet conversation during a quiet moment. It's letting them know, without drama, "I'm traveling alone and sometimes get a bit dizzy standing up. Nothing to worry about, but just so you're aware." Or, "I've had some trouble with my hearing, so if there are any important announcements, I might miss them. Could you just give me a nod when it's something critical?" You are giving them context. You are making them a partner in your well-being. This transforms your relationship. They will check on you. They will remember you. They might even bring you water without you asking. Why? Because you've treated them as professionals and given them a mission: to be subtly vigilant. This is worth more than any elite status. I've seen this result in flight attendants quietly moving passengers to give someone more space, offering extra pillows or blankets proactively, and even, on one memorable flight, sharing their own crew meal when the special dietary order was misplaced. This benefit isn't in a manual. It's born from human connection within a framework of professional responsibility. Let's descend into the chaos of baggage claim. This is where the journey often ends in a final, exhausting stand, waiting at a carousel for luggage that may or may not arrive. The hidden benefit here is one of the oldest in the book, yet it's forgotten in the era of roller bags: gate checking. But not the forced gate check at the jet bridge when bins are full. I'm talking about voluntary gate checking at the departure gate. Approach the agent before boarding begins. Ask, "Would it be possible to gate check this bag? It would make it much easier for me to navigate." In almost all cases, they will say yes. They will tag your bag, give you a claim check, and you walk onto the plane hands-free. The beauty of this is twofold. First, you avoid the overhead bin struggle entirely. Second, and this is critical, gate-checked bags are usually the last loaded and the first unloaded. They come out on the carousel much faster than the hold luggage from the belly of the plane. Furthermore, if your flight is delayed or tight on time, the crew will often make an announcement for passengers with tight connections to see an agent on arrival to retrieve their gate-checked bags plainside. A literal shortcut. You've traded a minor inconvenience, waiting at the carousel, for a major relief, not wrestling a bag through the airport onto the plane and into a bin. This is a classic example of using a simple procedure to offload physical strain. Now we must address the elephant in the terminal. Wheelchair assistance. This is the most stigmatized and misunderstood benefit of all. People see it as a symbol of incapacity. I see it as a tactical masterstroke for navigating the modern airport, which is essentially a series of marathons separated by security checks. Requesting a wheelchair when you book your ticket, or even at the curbside check-in, does not mean you cannot walk. It means you are choosing not to walk 2 miles of concourses, stand in endless lines, and navigate crowded, confusing spaces under time pressure. It is a decision to conserve energy for the journey itself. Here's the hidden mechanics. When you request a wheelchair, you are assigned an escort. This person knows the airport layout intimately. They take you through priority security lanes, often different from pre-check, sometimes even more direct. They navigate you to your gate via the most efficient route. They handle the interaction with TSA for you if there's an issue. You become a passenger in their care, not a number in the system. The time savings and stress reduction are monumental. And let's be clear, the system is built for this. Airlines are required to provide this service. By using it, you are not being a burden. You are allowing the airport to function as designed for a variety of mobilities. I've known savvy, perfectly mobile business travelers to use this service when recovering from a minor injury or illness, or simply when facing a monstrously large airport like Atlanta or Dallas-Fort Worth with a tight connection. They arrive at the gate refreshed, not depleted. The key is to tip your escort courteously in cash. They are providing a personal service. A few dollars is appropriate and appreciated. This turns the transaction from a bureaucratic requirement into a human interaction. We've covered the physical journey. Now let's talk about the digital one. Airlines push everyone towards apps and self-service kiosks. The hidden benefit is to avoid them strategically. When you check in at the full-service desk with an agent, you are creating a human record. You are establishing a point of contact. If your flight is canceled or disrupted, you are not just a record in a computer queue. You are a person who talked to Julie 2 hours ago. She might remember you. More importantly, the agent at the desk has far more discretion and tools to reaccommodate you than any app or kiosk. They can see partner airline availability, hold seats on later flights, and issue meal vouchers on the spot. The app will put you on a wait list. The human can solve the problem. Furthermore, checking in at the desk is the perfect time to politely confirm any special requests: wheelchair, meals, seating, ensuring they are in the record. It's a redundancy that saves headaches later. In an age of automation, choosing human interaction is a powerful, counterintuitive advantage. This leads us to the most opaque area: irregular operations. Flights get canceled. It's a fact. The standard reaction is panic, followed by a mad rush to the customer service desk and a long, angry line. The hidden benefit for the experienced traveler is the dual-track approach. While you physically get in line at the service desk, because face-to-face still matters, you immediately call the airline's elite member line. Even if you're not elite, you have a better chance of getting through to a capable agent on the phone than the overwhelmed staff at the airport. You are now working 2 channels simultaneously. But here's the real secret. Know your rights under the contract of carriage for meal vouchers and hotel accommodations. If a cancellation is within the airline's control, maintenance, crew scheduling, and forces an overnight stay, they are obligated to provide a hotel voucher. They will not volunteer this information. You must ask. Calmly, politely ask, "As this cancellation is due to maintenance, can you please provide me with meal vouchers and arrange hotel accommodation for the night?" Use the precise language within your control. This shows you know the rules. They will comply. For those over a certain age, there's an added layer: comfort and safety. If the reaccommodation on a later flight involves a very long wait in the terminal, you can politely express concern about your well-being during that extended period. This isn't a threat. It's a statement of fact. Airlines are deeply risk-averse. The possibility of a medical incident in their terminal due to their operational failure is a scenario they will go to great lengths to avoid. This can sometimes motivate them to find a more creative solution, a seat on a competitor's flight, for instance, that they might not offer to others. It's a delicate tool, but a real one. Next, consider the unglamorous but vital realm of airport lounges. You may think they're only for business class travelers or credit card holders. Not entirely true. Many airports have single-visit passes you can purchase, often for around $50, $60. For a long layover, this is not an expense. It's an investment in sanity. A lounge provides a quiet, comfortable chair, free drinks and snacks, reliable Wi-Fi, and clean, private restrooms. The hidden benefit isn't the free cheese cubes, it's the preservation of your personal resources. Instead of spending 4 hours in the noisy, chaotic terminal, spending money on overpriced food while guarding your bags, you are in a controlled, calm environment. You can rest, you can recharge your devices and yourself without anxiety. For a traveler who may face more fatigue, this controlled environment is a buffer against the overwhelming sensory assault of the public terminal. It turns a layover from an ordeal into an intermission. Some airlines also offer discounted day passes for seniors at certain lounges, but you have to ask directly at the lounge reception. Never assume it's advertised. Finally, we arrive at the most subtle and powerful benefit of all, the psychological advantage of experience. The young traveler is ruled by anxiety and the fear of missing out. You are not. You have a lifetime of navigating complex systems. You know that most problems are solvable, that most officials respond to calm persistence, and that losing your temper is the fastest way to lose all leverage. This is your hidden superpower. When the system fails, and it will, you have the emotional resilience to handle it. You can assess a situation, ask the right question, and wait patiently while the chaotic energy of others exhausts itself. I've seen older travelers get results not because of a rule, but because they were the only person in line who treated the agent like a human being. In a crisis, the person who is calm, polite, and firm becomes the anchor point for the agent looking to solve one problem efficiently. Be that person. Your age grants you an implicit authority if you wield it gently. It suggests you are not impulsive, that your complaint is likely valid, and that you understand the value of patience. This isn't about entitlement, it's about earned respect. So, we've walked this path together, from curbside to baggage claim. These aren't tricks or hacks. They are methodologies for aligning the often inhospitable system of commercial aviation with your human needs. They require a shift from reactivity to proactivity. From seeing yourself as a cargo to seeing yourself as a participant with agency. The benefits are hidden because the travel industry's profit model relies on standardization and throughput. Anything that requires a moment of extra attention, a discretionary act, or a personalized solution is something they will not promote. But it exists. It exists in the spaces between the rules, in the hearts of the frontline employees who just want to help a nice person have a better day, and in your own willingness to ask calmly and correctly. Flying after 70 isn't about enduring less. It's about understanding more. It's about knowing that the journey can still hold a degree of grace, not in spite of your years, but because of the wisdom they've given you. Now you know where to look. The next time you fly, don't just pack your bags, pack your knowledge. It's the lightest and most valuable carry-on you'll ever have.